for your meditation.
We found an Amiga guy right here with this amazing 1200. So you want to tell us what's your name?
My name is Alan Rateliff. I'm on Amiga.org as LoadWB.
Ah,
I hang out some of the other
I've
boards.
seen some of your posts.
I have no idea what I am on some of the other boards. I actually hang around AO a lot, but this is my little 1200. I was really happy when I finally got this. And we'll start from over here. I started with a 4 gig disk on module.
So now the difference between this and using the compact flash adapters, which are very popular.
Yes.
What is that?
The main difference is, well, it's not interchangeable like your compact flash. You can't just take one compact flash and put it in there. But this functions very similar to it. It can be a little bit faster than some of the compact flash, depending on what you get. These are actually made for industrial use, for like thin clients, machines that you just throw in a corner and forget about and expect them to run 10 years later. Compact flash, they can have varying lifespans, but in general your disk on modules tend to be more reliable and a little bit faster.
Right, so from what it sounds like, a big difference is your compact flash is a very consumer device and this is industrial. It was designed to be a computer's hard drive.
Exactly. Yeah, whereas a compact flash is really meant for, it's meant for cameras, it's meant for photography, video, that kind of thing. So you move it from one device to another. It's meant to be inserted and deinserted many, many times. This you put in place, you set it and forget it, and you're done.
Great. All right, so what else is in this?
All right, so we also have an Indivision AGA MK2. This sits on top of the video processor and gives you DVI and VGA output. This is made by Individual Computers out of Germany. This is making just an incredible number of amazing expansions. And reasonably priced, the majority of them, which is great, so we can get in the hands of a lot of people, get you hooked up to a modern monitor.
And that's a big concern, I know for myself, on my Amigas is, as your 1084s, your 2002s die,
yes,
it's like, what can you hook these things up to get a display out of them? And this is just a great internal, so you're not really having to modify the 1200 at all.
Yeah,
it's just to get your display out.
Absolutely. Internal, it just pops right on. It works out of the box. There is a configuration tool, so if you have a little bit of overscan set on some of your screen modes, you can make it fit. It comes with a bunch of default settings for all the known video modes, so it does work out of the box, which is extremely handy. And one big complaint that you'll have, and it's not just with Amiga, but it's across the spectrum of classic computers, is once you start hooking them up to high-resolution machines, you lose some of the features, you know, some of the coloring with the artifacting. It gets blocky and all that.
Right.
So your mileage may vary overall, but in general, if you want to put this computer to use and you can't get a hold of the older monitors as they're getting more scarce and more difficult to source fixed up, this is the way to go. I actually have a 4000 desktop that has similar to this. It's the AGA for the 4000, and I actually switch it between my Morphos Mac Mini and my desktop PC. So I have it switchable, and I get to use them all in one station.
Right, so you have one monitor on the desk for 3 machines, as opposed to needing that old composite monitor.
Absolutely.
Just for your Amiga. And that's great too, just from, I mean, these things take up a lot of room sometimes.
Take up a lot of room. Those monitors are bulky, they're heavy, they're hot.
Yep.
And as anybody knows, if you have a lot of these machines in a room, your air conditioner is taxed.
Yep. And the lights flicker sometimes when you turn things on.
That used to be a badge. That used to be a badge of honor. If I could flip a switch and my lights dimmed as my computer powered up, that was nirvana right there.
Okay. So I see 2 USB ports coming out the back of this. So what do we have? What do we have there?
This is the clock port edition of the Rapid Road USB module, also made by Individual Computers. With this and the Poseidon USB stack, you can run virtually any USB device that will plug into it. The sound card works. With the Acill AHI sound system.
Wow, yeah, I never thought, you know, obviously you usually think of USB for keyboards and mice.
Right.
But wow, you can hook up a sound card to your 1200.
Absolutely, and it's not bad. I mean, the resolution is good, the sound is great. I mean, even for something like a cheap sound card like this, you can pick these up on Amazon or eBay, anywhere from 80 cents to maybe $5, you know, depending on how quickly you want to get them.
That's incredible.
But mass storage devices, USB adapter, USB flash drives, thumb drives, USB CD-ROMs, the little USB rocket launchers. I mean, there's a class for a lot of different things. Even, if I remember correctly, there's even one for video capture or video display, one or the other. Something I don't use, but it really does. And the USB stack is extremely functional. Now, it does require MUI, so it makes it a little bit heavier for your system, but there are alternative USB stacks out there. There's one called ANIIS, which is another, I don't remember what it stands for, but it's lightweight, and it's made to run on scaled-down machines.
Right, and now since this goes on the clock port,
Yes.
it's really not just 1200, because we now have cards that can add clock ports to other Amigas. I believe there's one for the 600, and there might even be one for the 2500 that has clock ports on it. So
Yeah, the 500. I think the new ACA 500 Plus has clock ports on it. If not, a lot of the processor expansions for the 500s have them.
Yep.
Processor expansions for the 600 have them. Cards like the Buddha Flash or the Buddha IDE, the Xsurf, all sorts of different devices you can add USB to. And what's really nice about this particular, the Rapid Road, is it also has the ability to connect to a native bus on the Xsurf 100, which is a Zorro-based 100 megabit network card.
Yep.
So then with that, you can get full USB 2.0 speed. I believe you're limited on this. I'm not sure what the speed is, but just because of the nature of the clock port.
Right,
but it is functional.
It's amazing that a clock port could be so flexible.
Yes. The other really kind of expansions I've done on this, I have a Blizzard 1260.
Right, so that's an old school expansion. Probably was one of the, before you got to PowerPC cards, this was the premier expansion board for the 1200.
Yes, and believe me, I would love to have a PowerPC, but this little baby, even not overclocked, it flies. It does well. It compiles very quickly with WHD load. It plays games very well. I have the SCSI module on here with the expanded memory. So in this classic machine built in 1992, I have 192 megs of CPU RAM, and of course the built-in 2 megs of video RAM.
Right.
So put a high-density floppy drive in here.
High-density floppy, yep.
Just because at the time before I went USB, it made it easier. I do have the PCMCIA network card. This works with CNET device.
And that was, you know, back when the 1200 came out.
Yes.
And PCMCIA was used in laptops. These cards were very expensive, and a lot of us sat there and wondered, like, what am I ever going to do with this? You had the Squirrel SCSI, which I think was one of the only things that most people would buy for that port.
Right.
But of course, now you can pick up these network cards. You can get wireless network cards that'll work in a 1200 for very little money.
You can get lots of them for just dirt cheap.
Right, right. Because you know, even laptops have moved away from that standard.
Yes.
So.
Well, everything now, and actually, I have, with my expansions on this, obsoleted this because I can use a USB network card in here.
Yeah.
So you use Miami, you use Roadshow, you can use Genesis. It works through Poseidon, gets you right on the network.
It is not in the usual beige case either.
It is not. This is the one of the Kickstarter cases. I opted to get a black one, a beige one, and a transparent one, which I have here. The transparent one is really nice because the LEDs on the module and the USB card shine through it and give it a nice little inside glow. The stock LEDs kind of give it a nice little glow. I'm waiting, as you can see, I do have the original keycaps.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the keycap Kickstarter to finish up so I can get my keycaps.
And it's always wonderful. And here you see a usual example where the different keys yellow at different rates.
Yes.
And it looks just very random. Yeah, well, not that random because you have a whole row. You have a few here. I know a lot of them you'll have the space bar yellow.
Oh, just like school bus yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, I haven't had any problems, but I didn't realize how yellow this was until I put it in the transparent case. Because the original case is yellow just as much.
Yellowed a bit too, yeah. Yep, so by comparison, it still looks fine. But,
Yes.
But then the other advantage of these Kickstarter cases is, as I can see, you can see a hint of it even from the top, is these actually have brass inserts
Yes.
for the screws to go in. And we all know you open and close your 1000, your 500, your 600, your 1200 a lot. Those screws just bite right into the plastic, and eventually they start to wear it out.
They strip. You can't get them to close tightly.
Yeah.
So you definitely have the brass screw mounts. It also has the little GoTech cutout here, so you can run a floppy emulator instead of running a real floppy drive. It also has knockouts on the side for USB. So
Oh, yeah.
now I don't have the right USB header for this, but I'm working on finding it, and if not, I'm just going to cut these and make them fit because I want my USB there for sure.
Right.
So
And then you won't have those wires sticking out the back
Yeah.
anymore. It's all internal.
Absolutely, yeah. I would love to be able to close this case properly. It's I've been very, very proud to display.
Well,
this.
that is an Amiga 1200 to be proud of, for sure. So now you've had work done on this motherboard as well.
Yes, I have. There is a gentleman on Amiga.org by the name of Acill. His name is Paul, and he offers a recap and repair service. And I sent this motherboard off to him to get recapped, because as we know, as they age, the capacitors start leaking, they break, they eat motherboards, they erase your credit cards. So shipped it off to him. I got it back in a very, very quick return, a very reasonable price. It was, I honestly, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was under $100 if I remember correctly. But it was well worth it. If you look closely, you can't even tell that anybody's had their hands on it. It looks like it came right out of the factory. So I'd very much like to give a shout out to Paul Acill on Amiga.org. He has a thread about his recap and repairs, and he's a real good guy to work with.
And now you've also had him work on, so he doesn't just do 1200s, you've had him work on 4000s as well?
Yep. I sent off my 4000 desktop. I also had him asked him to do the PIO2 IDE update, which he did. He's doing a lot of other systems too. He has pictures up on them. I'm going to be shipping off my 500. I'm going to send off my 2000, and I believe he's actually working on a capacitor list for the 1000 to be able to recap those as well.
Right, and that's, like you said, it's very important. Each of those capacitors is like those barrel batteries. They have acid in them. If they leak, they can cause damage. So it's getting to that age where you really got to start thinking about if you're either doing it yourself or having someone who knows how to do it. You know that they've done a lot of them. They have the equipment, they have the expertise to do it for you.
It's true. If you love your little girl, you got to treat her right. Send her off, get her recapped. You can get the kits for them if you're handy with a soldering iron, or like you said, if you know somebody who is. Get it done sooner than later, because eventually something's going to happen.
Yep.
You will be sorry.
And then you'll be sending it off to get recapped anyway.
You'll be sending it to get recapped and hopefully repaired.
Yep.
The electrolyte in these is very caustic. It can do a lot of invisible damage, and a lot of damage that can just sit there and lurk for a while before it shows its ugly face.
Right.
So get it done soon.
Great. Well, thank you again.
Yes, sir.